Hello, I am Mr. Osmex300, and I'm gonna be talking to you about a brand new game. This game's more recent than TF2, but it won Game of the Year the year it was introduced, which was 2022. But do you know what this game is? Are you ready to find out? Good, because the game is none other than Elden Ring. That's right, it's Elden Ring. Now, a little gist of the game. You're a tarnished. Tarnished are the people that are destined to become Elden Lord at the lands between. Now you see, Queen Marika, the Eternal, has shattered the Elden Ring, and the Erd Tree is now vulnerable. But why did she shatter the Elden Ring? Why? A question to ponder upon. Because I do not know why. And the Erd Tree is where the Elden Ring is at. That's where the Elden Ring is housed. And now, you have a bit of a journey to get there. So I'll just lay it out for you before I explain every location in detail. First comes Limgrave. Some players call this place home, because it's the easiest place. Now, you can also do a southern detour to the Weeping Peninsula. I'll talk more about that when we get there, but all I'm going to be telling you guys right now is that the enemies are a little tougher there. Now, then we're going to go to Larinia of the Lakes. That's where more magic happens. Later on in the game, you can do another detour to Caelid. Some people call this place hell because it's a rot-infested place that nobody wants to go to. But unless of course you want a rune boost. If that's the case, you can go to Grey Old's Dragon Barrow and easily defeat the titular Dragon Mother. Now, just so you know, runes are the currency here. You can buy stuff, mainly notes, armor, mainly shields, and sometimes weapons, and other talismans, which I will be talking about and even other items. And I'll be talking more about them later on in the video. Anyway, if you don't want to go to that bigger detour, just so you know, Caelid's right next to Limgrave. It's a little more eastern. But if you want to go west, then go to Larinia, and then north to Atlas Plateau. That is the last step before you get to Leyndell, the capital city of the lands between. But you can also take a western detour to Mount Gelmir. It's an active volcano, because all that's there is magma and ash, lava ash. Then you get to Leyndell. And as you can see, there is a big dragon there in the middle of it, and I will talk more about said dragon, when we get to talk about Leyndell. But after you defeat the Guardian, you can see that the Erd Tree's blocked. No one may enter it, blocked by these impenetrable thorns. To penetrate them, there are two things you need to get. And to get both of them, you have to go to the snow-capped mountaintops of the giants. I'll talk more about these giants when we get there. But what I'm telling you right now is that it houses the giant's flame. One of two things that can damage the Erd Tree. You know, the Erd Tree warriors and giants were at war. And it would seem the Erd Tree warriors won. Because, spoiler alert for the end game, there's only one giant left. And you have to beat him to get the flame. But if you want a much bigger challenge, then you can go to the other snow-capped area of the consecrated snowfield. And then, to get there, you have to have two medallions. and then go to a hidden path to it. Then you can go to the Legacy Dungeon there. I'll talk to you more about it in a sec. First, you have to get to the Rune of Death, which is the other thing that can damage the Erd Tree, and that's at Crumbling Fair Missoula, which is literally crumbling. Once you get it and defeat the Guardian, then you go back to Landau and you notice that the city is covered in ash. And you also know that the former First Elden Lord, Godfrey, has returned. Once you best him, you can enter the Erd Tree and defeat the current Elden Lord. And then you have to beat the Elden Ring Incarnate, aka the Elden Beast. Oh, and the second Elden Lord, by the way, is none other than Radagon of the Golden Order, which, by the way, is the ruling family. But something completely optional, you can go underground. They are mainly suited to quests and shortcuts, and there are 4 areas I want to talk about when we get there. Equipment and magic. That's what you need to conquer the Golden Order and its forces. Like weapons, of course. I mentioned these great swords and katanas because that's what I mostly see people using when I play this game. Yeah, I'm a co-op kind of guy. Now, 9 demigods. This says 2, but I just realized there are actually 3 that you cannot fight. Of these 3, one of the 3 is the premise of the DLC, which I'll talk about at the end of the video. Then, one has been posthumously dead. I'll get to that when we get to one of the quests. Which, by the way, the last demigod has one of them. Now onto the dungeons. Legacy dungeons. These houses main bosses, and the main legacy dungeons have demigods. That's where they are. But there are also mini dungeons, and there are 4 kinds. Caves, catacombs, tunnels, and heroes' graves. I'll be talking more about them when we get there. But you can get good loot if you complete them. Though, to be fair, some of them are actually hard, especially the heroes' graves. Then we have talismans. These are tools to help you make your journey easier. They help buff you, and they protect you. If you want to be a mage, then go to Rey Lucaria, one of the legacy dungeons, for sorceries. They can be casted by glintstone staffs. To get more and master more sorceries, you need intelligence. Because the main place for sorcery is a school. Kind of ironic, right? As far as incantations and spells are concerned, you can cast them with a seal. Some will require more faith than others. That's right, you level up through faith. Then we get spirit ashes. Spirits of people who have passed on, aka died, and they can help you as well. I think of it as a last resort. Most players think of it as easy mode. I think easy mode's co-op. We also got Ashes of War. You can customize these with your weapons. Any way you like, just to make them stronger. Some weapons have unique skills that cannot be infused with other weapons. Mainly the boss weapons that you get after defeating them, particularly the demigods. Okay, here we go. PvP. You have 3 Colosseums to fight. And 1 in Limgrave, 1 in Caelid, and 1 in Landau. Now, PvP has weapons that are more OP than in PvE, player versus enemy. And last but not least, there's the DLC. Downloadable content, Shadow of the Erd Tree. It follows the ascension of Mikla, one of the 9 demigods. Unfortunately, he wants to be a god, and you have to stop his ascension. Unfortunately, he has the aid of 2 two demigods you fought before in order to access the DLC. One body with the other's soul. You have to put a stop to Mikola. Now, I would like to say this. I am a co-op kind of guy. If you have any requests, I'm on Xbox One, Mr. Awesome X30. And you can always request my help. To be honest, I don't know if I can actually, defeat them, because most of the time I do help people, I mostly lose. Either I die or they die first. But I sometimes complete the dude did the job. And to use co-op, you use for calling finger remedies at Effigies of the Martyr, all around the lanes between and Shadow. Mainly right before boss arenas. When you do that, you can always count on other people to help you. Now, next video I'll be talking about the starter area known as Limgrave, and all the sublocations and loot you can get, as well as the beastry there. Until then, please like and subscribe and click the notification bell to when I put up videos. Until then, bye!